2025年1月1号下午2点。
On January 1st, 2025, at 2 p.m., my last restaurant closed for good, and I had to let go of all my employees. I promised to pay them all their wages by January 7th.
给他们结清所有的工资。
In recent years, China's economy has been struggling and consumer spending continues to drop, which has directly affected the restaurant industry. Last year, nearly 3 million restaurants in China closed down, a new record. Now cities like Beijing are facing a wave of restaurant closures, and businesses that specialize in shutting down restaurants are doing surprisingly well. It's like they're the new undertakers of the food world. Today, let's talk about this issue. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and allows us to bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. In China, the average lifespan of a restaurant is only around 500 days, and in Beijing, it's even shorter, just 1 year. According to data from the Beijing government, the restaurant industry's net profit in the city dropped by 88% in the first half of 2024. Restaurants closing in China cover all types, including dining spots, tea shops, cafes, bakeries, hot pots, dessert places, buffets, and barbecue, with some well-known brands also shutting down. The main reason? People don't have as much money to spend, and many are cutting back on their spending. Mr. Wang from Taizhou, Jiangsu shared in an interview that many restaurants in his area have closed. Among them, a lot of well-established ones shut down, and even some that only had been open for 4 or 5 years are now closing too. Look at this store where I lost 180,000. Today, I'm officially closing it down. I'm giving up. After 2 years of trying, I just can't keep going. I don't want anything anymore. Everything is going. We even planned to have a no-smoking area, and this was supposed to be it. All the drinks and alcohol in this freezer, they're all going. The same goes for the drinks over here. They're being cleared out too. For customers who still have balances or memberships, they can use them at our other store. We also have some alcohol that customers left here, and we'll move all of that as well. The charcoal fire feels nice and warm. Later, we'll have a small gathering, and then it's all over. Well, my restaurant is officially closed. I'm a 90s mom, and this is the real story of how I jumped into the restaurant business. After quitting my job, I opened a small shop, ran it for a year, and finally decided to shut it down. In this 1 year, I experienced the excitement of starting my own business, full of big dreams, and even the thrill of a packed restaurant, working on just 5 hours of sleep a night. But we also went through difficult moments, like after the busy season, when the street was quiet and we made a grand total of $28 in 1 day. With so many restaurants closing down around us, both new and old, I can't help but wonder, will the restaurant business get better in 2025? I honestly have no idea, and I'm not going to predict the future. But right now, with losses piling up, I've decided it's time to cut my losses and move on. The shop's up for transfer and we'll keep running until it's sold. If you want to try our food one last time, now's your chance. Hurry up and come by.
如果还有想吃咱家这一口的，抓紧过来吧。
Look at this, closed, closed, closed. The one over there is also shut, with a for transfer sign on the door. The one at the end even has a for rent sign. The location isn't bad at all. Behind us there are apartments, office buildings, and a lot of hotels. Across the street there's a villa area, and this whole area is full of high-rise residential buildings with a decent occupancy rate. Plus, this street is packed with Chinese restaurants, about 10 of them, along with some late-night spots. Restaurants can even set up outdoor tables for customers. But even with all this, some places couldn't make it. Several restaurants around here have already closed. We checked out the one still open nearby, and right now it's 7:05 p.m. and not a single table is filled. So honestly, what's the point of sticking around? This is the reality of the restaurant business this year. Don't believe me? Just look around. Every street has lots of stores up for transfer. Welcome to my unlucky restaurant. Seriously, don't ever open a restaurant. Wow, this place is huge. Yeah, this part is around 500 square meters, and that's just half of it. The whole place is about 1,300 square meters. We lasted a solid 3 months. 3 months and you shut down? Yep, we opened on March 30th and officially closed on June 30th. How much did I lose? About $400,000. To put it in 3 words, it was brutal. It happened right during the pandemic. We rented the whole building. The 20th to 30th floors were all single apartments and the top floors were hotel rooms. I thought, hey, with all these people around, a restaurant's gotta be a hit. So I dove right in with absolutely no experience. My staff's salary alone was $28,000 a month, and with rent, our total costs were $40,000 a month. The best month we had was just $28,000. We officially closed up shop on June 30th. What a ride! This is the store. I sweated blood for 5 years. We had to shut it down. It's really tough to let go. Feels like saying bye to my own kid. My heart's breaking, seriously. Looking at all this stuff just throws me back to the days we had here. It feels like the customers, family, and everyone working here still hang around. The store has been a big part of my life where my husband and I chased our dreams together. We survived the first year of struggle, then came the 3rd year pandemic roller coaster. After that, we hit a low point. I didn't really want to close the store, but the reality is hard, and I have to accept it. Every little detail in here has my blood, sweat, and tears in it. I've tried to move out everything I could, but honestly, it's still a huge feeling of loss and a bit of regret. When the economy is tough, just breaking even feels like making a profit. So what's the current situation in the restaurant industry? Just look around. So many restaurants are closing. Across the street, 2 noodle shops have shut down, all small businesses. This whole street is filled with for rent signs, and there are empty spaces everywhere. At the end of last year, Coco Lemon, a Western restaurant on Shui Yuan Road, closed. A few days ago, an old Western restaurant, IG&C, also shut down in Yuncheng. Why am I posting this video? Because I keep seeing posts about college grads not wanting to work a regular job and wanting to open their own stores, or office workers getting tired of the 9-to-5 grind and wanting to become their own boss. I even saw a post where someone rented a place to open a hot pot restaurant. The previous owner was also in the hot pot business, so what makes you think you'll succeed where they failed? Sure, there are some restaurants in Yuncheng that are always packed, but those are the exception, not the rule. If you're thinking about getting into the restaurant business, think carefully before jumping in. Last year, Zhenghao Dada Chicken, which had been around for more than a decade, closed all its locations in mainland China. Even high-end Michelin restaurants like Shanhe, Wanduo, and Modern Thai with a cost of $140 per person are shutting down one after another. To survive, big brands have started slashing prices. For example, Haidilao, a popular hot pot chain, dropped the price of its small hot pot base from $2.70 to $1.40. Pizza Hut's Le Xian stores now sell $1.20 fried chicken and $2.60 pizzas. Prices are being cut lower and lower. Some Michelin restaurants that are still open have even launched $55 budget set meals. The tea drink industry isn't doing well either. Data shows that from November 2023 to November 2024, nearly 200,000 milk tea shops closed down. Restaurants and milk tea shops are shutting down in large numbers, and secondhand equipment is piling up. Commercial equipment worth thousands of dollars is now being sold at dirt cheap prices or even as scrap metal. According to Lianhe Xiaobao, 38-year-old An Da Wei and his team are busy collecting chairs, ovens, storage cabinets, and baking machines left behind by restaurant closures across Beijing. They even use forklifts to move large equipment. An Da Wei says that in big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, more than 10% of the restaurants close every month. And sometimes it's as high as 15%. Last year, An Da Wei and his team dismantled an average of 200 closed restaurants a month, which is a 270% increase from the previous year. Blogger Dog Brother is also in the business of recycling restaurant equipment. After the Chinese New Year, restaurant closures have been non-stop. Today, I went to Dog Brother to clear out and give quotes for 8 restaurants. I left at 8 a.m. and didn't get back until after 8 p.m. The first place we visited was a barbecue restaurant. The owner had really put a lot of effort into it, even installing high-end multifunctional steam ovens. The restaurant was huge, over 400 square meters, 2 floors, located in a tech park. Business was okay at first, but now they've had to lay off a lot of staff and the whole park is almost empty. The owner explained that the park used to have a big company with thousands of employees, which was the main source of his business. But after the company went under, his own business has been struggling. The park also hasn't been able to attract new companies, and the few that are still there are moving out. In the end, he decided it was time to stop fighting and shut down. The fifth business is an iron pot stew franchise. The owner is from Northeast China and loves this dish. He often takes his family and friends out for iron pot stew, so he decided to open a franchise himself. Unfortunately, the business lost a lot of money, around $280,000, and it only lasted 3 months. The owner knows it wasn't working. If they couldn't make money in the winter, things would only get worse in the spring and summer. Luckily, he had the foresight to arrange for rent to be paid every 3 months when signing the lease, which helped to reduce some of the financial pressure. The sixth business is a Western restaurant with fancy decor and high-end equipment. The owner even spent $10,000 on a German-imported multifunction steam oven. But even though the investment was huge, costing between $700,000 and $800,000 to open, the price wars in the industry have made it hard to earn a profit. The restaurant's average check has dropped from $70 per person to $55, then to $40, and now it's down to just $14 per person. With such low spending, they can't even cover wages, let alone pay the rent.
这么低的客单价，别说是发工资了，就连房租都交不上。累废了，今天一天约了15家要倒闭的。
I'm completely exhausted. Today, I had appointments with 15 restaurants that are closing down to give them quotes for equipment recovery. I've seen 9 so far, and there are 6 more to go. One is a seafood restaurant over 500 square meters that lasted only 2 years. Another is a small country-style restaurant selling $1.40 box meals. There's also one where I'm not sure what happened, since all the equipment was already taken back to the warehouse. And then there's an old restaurant that's been running for 12 years, but lost $140,000 in just 6 months. Finally, I'm back. I made it to the office at 11:07 p.m. After a day like this, I honestly feel like I just made $1.4 million.
今天这一天，狗哥感觉见到了1000多万。兄弟们
Have you ever seen a barbecue restaurant that never even opened? Today, I'm taking over one that shut down without serving a single customer. So what went wrong? Let's wait for the owner to show up and ask him directly. Why did you shut down? The local authorities wouldn't approve it. We had everything ready, but they just needed to sign off on it. They wouldn't do it and said we couldn't open here. Seriously? Yeah, nothing I can do about it. How much did you lose? I probably spent about $7,000 here at least. That's a lot. There's another barbecue place right over there and they're open. I don't get it. I have my own vent system, but they still won't let me open. So what happens to restaurant owners after the businesses go under? Dog Brother works in the secondhand restaurant equipment business and meets these owners all the time. Some of them, not ready to quit, go through the entrepreneurship cycle, set up a food stall, open another restaurant, or try social media, only to blow through whatever little money they have left. Then they move on to the triathlon of life: food delivery, courier work, and driving for ride-hailing services. They end up exhausted and totally wrecked, and finally they take on the 3 lucky jobs: security guard, nanny, or cleaner, just to get by. And that's pretty much how their life goes. So while you're still young, get out there and explore. Familiarize yourself with the delivery routes, just in case you end up doing that one day. Don't stress, just adjust your expectations. There's always a way forward. All roads lead to, well, being a glorified pack horse.
不用焦虑，调整好心态，条条大路通牛马。
That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.